to all FIDF supporters. We are the IDF Ensemble, and we're so excited to be here today. I'm Noah.
I'm Umbre.
Adele. Chana.
And we want to thank you for all your love and support, and we're wishing you a happy holiday.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher קידשנו במצוותיו, וציוונו להדליק נר של חנוכה. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשה ניסים לאבותינו, בימים ההם בזמן הזה. אמן.
On FIDF Live, we talk a lot about lone soldiers. These are soldiers who typically come from abroad, leaving their families and the countries of their birth to come and serve in the IDF, protecting the Jewish country and Jews all over the world. Today, there are more than 7,000 lone soldiers serving in the IDF from over 70 countries. 1,000 of these lone soldiers are from the United States. Today, we'll meet one of them. His name is First Sergeant Sagi. He's from San Diego, and he's currently serving in the 202nd Battalion of the Tzanchanim, the paratroopers. So Sagi, first of all, thanks for spending some time with us on FIDF Live.
Thank you for having me.
How long have you been in the IDF?
I've been serving for around 2 years and 5 months.
And what is your mission? I know you're in the paratroopers, but what are you actually doing?
So I'm a lone soldier, combat soldier in the 202nd Battalion. Right now, we're on the West Bank. We're guarding the borders between us and the Palestinians. And our day-to-day just consists of keeping the Israeli people safe.
You mentioned lone soldier. I know you're from San Diego. What made you decide to come over here and be a lone soldier in the IDF?
First and foremost, my parents are Israeli. And so I think that growing up, most of the idea of joining the military and defending my state has always been there. And over time, once I went to high school in my 10th and 11th and 12th grade, I had a trip to Israel and Poland. And I think that on my trip to Poland, I got to see some things that really changed my mind and opened up my point of view and what I need to do with my life. And I think that's what brought me here.
Tell me about your parents' reaction, not just to your service in general, but in May, Operation Guardian of the Walls, 4,000 rockets being fired at Israel, and they have a son not only in the country but in a combat unit. What was that like for them?
I'm sure it was really difficult, not only because I'm here but also because my brother's here. And serving in the same battalion, it's quite scary I can only imagine having two of your children in a place like that. Me personally, I tried to keep quiet about it as much as I can and not worry my parents because I know how much it would worry them. And so I think they had to struggle quite a bit with that feeling, but I think, they got over it.
And you mentioned the brother. This is a brother who followed in your footsteps and is actually serving in the IDF as well.
Yes, and we're in the same battalion, and I'm very proud of him. I think he's been through a long journey, great journey, tough, difficult journey. And I think if it wasn't for him, then I wouldn't have any other family here, and so I think it's nice that we have each other's backs.
What's that like, serving with your brother in the same battalion? That doesn't happen often for lone soldiers in the IDF.
Seeing him for the first time in my platoon was a really special occasion. I was very proud of him, seeing him coming after 8 months of long, hard work. I don't know exactly how he got to my platoon. I don't know the logistics behind it, but the fact that I saw him there on that day and knew that we were going to be working side by side, it was a really, really happy moment.
During Operation Guardian of the Walls, you and your team were exposed to violent riots. What was that like for you, and what allowed you to commit to the mission?
I think, firstly, those 2 weeks were probably the most meaningful weeks of my service, just because of how violent the riots were and how intense of a situation it was. And according to why I completed my mission or how I was able to stick to the mission, having your friends on the right and left side of you doing exactly what you're doing in the same situation definitely helps.
How about friendships? I know being in a combat unit and serving in combat can really form a connection between people. So just anything you'd have to say about that, I'd love to hear.
I remember my mom told me that before I drafted, that the Army itself was going to bring me the best friends I've ever had in my life. And I can imagine what she meant, but I didn't exactly know. And now after having served the amount of time that I've served and having been with the kids that I've been with for the amount of time that I've been with, they're my best friends for sure. And I think that all of the difficulties and challenges we've had to get through together by pushing one another, it's a connection you can't get anywhere else. It's like a special type of bond that can't really be broken too easily.
So how about Sagi post-Army? How do you see the IDF playing a role in your future?
I think that the base and the foundation that I've been given from the IDF, in terms of my own capabilities and how I look at challenges that I will have to face in the future, I think that my military service is something that well prepared me for things like that in the future, and that it doesn't matter what's going to jump out at me, I'll be able to take it on.
Well, First Sergeant Sagi, it's been a pleasure to spend some time with you today. Thanks so much for sharing your story with us here on FIDF Live.